Welcome to Jurassic Park.
I'm not even supposed to be here today.
I'm just a fucked up girl who's looking for my own peace of mind.
Welcome to the party, pal.
I'll be back.
I'll have what she's having.
I'm gonna make him an offer again.
Here's looking at you, kid.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
All right, Mr. DeMille, I'm ready for my close-up.
Hello, I'm your host Jim McLean. Welcome back to another episode of More Than Pixels on a Screen, a spoilerific movie review podcast brought to you by BanterFlix, cinematic discussion, dear listeners, with a Northern Irish accent. We're recording a little impromptu episode of More Than Pixels on a Screen because we've been recording our little Christmas special. I'm joined by my usual cohort and partner in crime, Adam, newly engaged Neeson.
Up there.
Congratulations, Adam.
Oh, well, thank you, but, you know, there's more exciting things in the world.
Is there, though?
Yes.
Is there? Yeah, okay. Well, Adam's now, unfortunately, ladies, and unfortunately to the actress who plays Lois Lane in the film.
Well, it's,
It's not official yet.
No.
It's not official. No legal documents have been signed.
Not married, you know what I mean? I've put it on reserve.
Yeah.
But, if a certain Daily Planet woman wants to come and make a...
Rachel Brosnan? It's not Brosnan, it's Brosnahan or something.
Brosnan.
Yeah.
But if she wants a menage a trois, don't mind if I do.
I'm your man. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I guess, and everyone in between. Adam Neeson is now, though he's just declined that, he is kind of off markets now, because since our last recording, you're now a happily engaged man.
But it's like, do you know that class film Hall Pass?
Yeah.
Imagine I was Owen Wilson, and I'm like, I get one girl. I don't know why he speaks like an Oompa Loompa.
Wow.
I get one girl, Lois Lane.
I thought you'd be more like Steve Merchant in that film.
Eating brownies.
Yeah.
Good movie, Hall Pass.
It's not. It's okay, but the best bit is the post-credits thing with Steve Merchant.
Oh, or when the girl sneezes and shakes up the wall.
Yeah.
It's good.
It makes me laugh every time. Makes me laugh every time. But yes, just to get personal, Adam, how'd it go?
Pretty good. Did it on the steps of the Merchant. It were meant to do it at Chubby Cherub, a local Italian restaurant. But day of, Mrs. was like, I don't fancy eating in the Chubby Cherub because it's quite fancy. And I was like, that's my plan. So we went to Bob and Bert's. I had the Bob's loaded fries, highly recommend. And then it was really like Transfer Rain. It was Storm Dara. And I was like, come on, we'll go to the Merchant and see Christmas lights. Because famously, listens to the podcast, I love Christmas. And
Christmas dinners?
And Christmas dinners. Mrs. wasn't like, why the fuck does he want to go see Christmas lights? He hates Christmas. And then I was like, well, you do me the honour. I actually did.
Did you get down on your knee?
I did the old, I hate these shoes, they're awful loose. And don't make when somebody's...
Oh, he's a smooth operator, ladies and gentlemen.
And she went, that's all right, sure, if you want to fix your shoes. Are you serious? Oh, are you serious?
This is, remind me of when I proposed to my lovely wife. We were at Victoria Square. We had went to see... Zootopia. I probably told this story before.
I know you're like better than you.
And yeah, you do. And like you, it was raining and miserable that day. And then I said, well, fuck this. You know, men or Marty Scorsese kind of went, well, fuck this. And I said, well, I'm not going to propose on the wet ground. So I ended up proposing in the lift in Victoria Square. And took my lovely wife about half an hour to finally get round after laughing of saying yes. So, hey, we've all got the dream proposals. And talking of that... I'm joined now by the lovely other guest, Joe Mc Elroy.
Hello.
You getting inspiration here from Adam and I, the two love gurus?
Why do I keep getting this at every corner of my fucking life? Like, I'm going home at Christmas, like, it's Christmas time, so, any questions you need to ask?
You know what, Joe?
I was like,
I have to put up that, because my lovely wife and I, we had a real whirlwind romance. We got engaged after 16 years being together. So, hey, I'm happy to pass that baton on to somebody else.
Yeah, maybe, you know what, maybe Castle Court.
Old school.
Mix it up a bit.
Old school.
Yeah. Take her to the Avenue.
Catherine, if you're listening, because I know Catherine does, with the pod, she only ever listened to the pod you're on.
That's why I won't advertise them on this one.
She's going to be wary the next time you go, you don't Castle Court?
No, she'd be worried because I never want to go to a shop. Like, what the fuck are you taking me here for?
That's a sign to any woman. If your boyfriend wants to take you to Primark, you might be getting engaged.
Yeah.
Come on up to the laundry.
Papa Nicole. Ooh. Anyway, don't know why I went with that. Okay, so we're recording this as a little impromptu pod because on the day that we're recording our Christmas special, the new Superman trailer has dropped. Well, the teaser has dropped. It's going to be out in July next year, directed by James Gunn. This is kind of kicking off, well, cinematically anyway, is kicking off this new DC universe. James Gunn's kind of talked about this. It's not going to be as tight as what DC tried to do before, maybe not as connected in the same way that the MCU will be, but there will be nods, there will be references. And we have this new trailer. As we say, it's just dropped. Our first real proper look, bar a few posters, at David Corenswet, if I'm getting that right. That could be my Northern Irish twang coming in there. Adam, you're already, and you've been talking about this on X and in previous podcasts, you're a little bit enamoured with our new Lois Lane.
She's a girl worth getting.
She is indeed. Rachel, as we say, Rachel
Brosnan.
It's not Brosnan, but it's like it a little bit. We also have Nicholas Hoult in there, Nathan Fillion as well. What a haircut from that brief appearance in the teaser trailer. We've literally all watched this while we're recording. Myself, Adam and Joe would chat about what our thoughts about the trailer were and just hopes for the film. Of course, we can't review it. It's not out till next year. And just generally a little bit of Superman chat. But before you hear us chat all things Kal-El, let's play a little clip from the trailer.
Crypto. Home. Take me home.
Superman.
So that's a little snippet from the teaser trailer. Not much dialogue, admittedly, but a bit of a rocky rendition of the classic John Williams score. I have allowed myself to get a little bit excited about this, talked about this on the most recent episode of the TV show. Quietly optimistic. I trust James Gunn. Joe, come to you first. Well, what's your initial thoughts? We've literally just watched it.
Yeah, I quite like it, to be honest with you. Like, I think out of the three of us, I've the most superhero fatigue. I'm just sort of fed up with it at this stage, and anytime I see anything in relation to him, I'm like, no, it's enough. But a bit like Superman himself, I'm hopeful about this here. I think it looks quite good. You can definitely see, what James Gunn's trying to do. It's not just another, variation of what Richard Donner done. It looks like he's taken the core elements of that, but adding his own flavour and style to it, which is great, because that's my one worry going in this. Like, I hope it's not going to be, some cookie cutter Superman film we've all seen before. I'm glad looks like he's put his own personality in it, and
Crypto.
Yeah, and that's what I was getting at. Crypto being sort of the heart of that, because we've seen in the last Guardians of the Galaxy, going into Rocket's background, but now we're still keeping that sort of animal link and the emotional core that can kind of bring to any sort of story and characters. So yeah, a bit like yourself, I'm cautiously optimistic.
I am allowing myself, after watching the trailer, to get a little bit more excited. And I've been thinking about films for 2025. For me, like, the big stuff is probably the 28 years later, purely based on the trailer. It did its job. It was out a couple of weeks ago. Mission Impossible, because Tom Cruise is going to save the day. And I just think it doesn't look, like you've alluded to, Joe, we're going to get a mean and moody Superman. That doesn't mean he's not going to get bruised and battered in this. From the opening of this teaser trailer, we see Kal-El. He's been through the ringer. He's been down round Thompson's after 2 o'clock and definitely come out worse for wear. And yeah, so I think it's got, because you have all these issues with Superman, like with Zack Snyder. He tried to make him interesting by making him mean and moody and burdened by being Superman. That's not what I don't think anyone really wanted that. I know there is people out there who are like, oh, you know, Superman's a bit boring and dull. This is how you make him interesting. I don't think so. But Adam, I'm quietly optimistic. Joe's excited. Are you going to make it 3 for 3?
I'm super excited. I think with James Gunn, with his past, obviously I'm a big fan of the Guardians trilogy, but him being the CEO of DC Studios obviously takes away you hear the stories of, well, he can't use this character because they're being used in that. He can't use the character because they're being used in that. He's the boss. He can use whatever he wants. And the fact that we have Crypto and a lot of the characters that we see Green Lantern, Hawkgirl, Mr. Terrific, it's like he can pick and choose what he wants in a world that's already existed, sort of, so he can kind of do anything. And to have that sort of freedom to tell a story is great, especially with Superman, because the best Superman stories are the more personal stories. Obviously, he said in the past that All-Star Superman is the touchstone for the heart of the movie that he wants. You see a lot of it in this. You see, Clark and Lois getting a big smooch.
Big old smooch.
Like smooch. They have that scene where the two of them are in each other's arms and they're kind of floating in the air, spinning. But then you just have big kaiju monsters and Metamorphos the villain, you have the Engineers the villain, you have Lex Luthor looking like a bad bastard. But yeah, it's great to have a DC movie that isn't afraid to be a DC movie anymore. And I think with James Gunn, he has said in the press that, you know, there's less humour, but there's obviously going to be office-based humour in the Daily Planet, because you have people like Scatter Jacinto and one of the SNL guys. There's going to be a lot of banter, but it's not the banter-heavy Guardians. And the soundtrack to this, I think, is fantastic. The teaser before the teaser had a great sort of score. This is the
little one-shot moving poster
yes,
kind of thing, yeah.
Beautiful score. The John Williams theme with the guitar reminded me of 90s Spider-Man cartoon, which, fuck it, I like it. Because if you're going to take from anything, take from John Williams. I watched last week, on your recommendation, the Christopher Reeves documentary of Superman, and it had me in tears most of the time. So I'm definitely in the Superman mood, and with this coming out a week after the next Jurassic World movie and the same day as the Fantastic Four movie, it's going to be a struggle this summer. Someone's probably going to have to move. I think the Fantastic Four will probably move a week away, but this doesn't have to do amazing. This doesn't have to be $1 million movie.
Do you think it? Do you think that? I think it has to be, because I think you look at visually and tonally what we see. It looks and it reminds me of Superman Returns. I don't hate Superman Returns in the way some do. I don't know, Joe, Adam. Are either you really hate Superman Returns, or any of you like me? I think there's an idea there.
See, I've watched it once and it didn't really blow me away, but then again, that was when I was younger, because it did feel like Bryan Singer was just trying to do another variation of Donner. He
was doing something that continued on, and that
yeah.
It was meant to fit in between. Wasn't it meant Superman Returns was meant to be between 2 and 3?
2 and 3, yeah.
But Luthor's plan in that, from what I remember, was to like make more land for real estate. Is that
the worst land ever. Like, it's not even, it's worse than Larn.
It's just
Lurgan.
It's just made of Larn people.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just some weird fucking land plan.
Isn't Elizabeth Banks in it? Or am I know who?
Yeah. Kate Bosworth was
yes.
No, but Elizabeth Banks was the. Was she? She was.
Is she not Lex's Squeeze?
Oh, I forgot that.
And Kumar from Harold and Kumar.
Yeah.
Aaron Kumar.
Yeah, and you've got Cyclops from X-Men is the love interest for Lois.
A villain that, I don't know, just magically cast out of nowhere. Nobody knows who it is or anything like that, but we'll not get in there.
Yeah, I do like Superman Returns, but I remember because it didn't do mega money, it was deemed a flop. and that kind of killed the franchise because they had all the plans. I think, wasn't it, Jude Law was going to be Brainiac at one point, and that all kind of ended that. So that kind of reboot of that franchise being one and done. I don't know if they've done comic book sequels to Superman Returns.
I don't think so. They have done.
I know they've
sequels
done.
To,
I know they've done. Is it Superman 89 or is that Batman 89? I know
89, and then it's Superman sort of continuing from Donner's.
Yeah,
I think it maybe gets called Donner's Superman.
yeah. Because I know I've been getting those from the comic book guys, Great Victoria Street, other comic book shops are of course available, but I think this is gonna have to do to restart the DC universe. Considering you've too many wankers out there who go, oh, we just wish Zack Snyder could come back and do his thing. Fuck up, lads. Go ask your mum to heat up your pizzas from the microwave. Get over it. It's over. Zack's moved on. Other actors have moved on. We've got new people in there. Even though there'll still be wankers out there going, we want the Snyder cut to this and that, or a Snyder sequel. I don't know. You can maybe guess I'm not a fan of the Zack Snyder version.
But what about Ayer's Suicide Squad cut?
Yeah, where do you draw the
He's
line?
very quiet about that. You never hear about him.
Never
talk
talks about it, man.
No. Well, I think, has he not talked about this? He's kind of drew a line over it now and said, look, it's there. It's pretty much ready to go. Not like what they had to do with Justice League, where they had to give him, was it 10 or 20 million or maybe more?
Did he not pay that himself, more or less, from what I heard?
Snyder?
From what I heard, either that or he just didn't take any pay for doing the reshoots.
I would say
There's one of the other things, but at the same time, you're like, why?
He shot the Green Lantern scene in his garage. Okay, cool.
And, to what end?
Yeah.
I'm being down to either. I'll go back. Let's put it in context, right? So let's go back to this. So I think this is now dubbed just Superman. I think originally it was titled Superman Legacy.
Yeah.
But I think from this trailer, it just seems to be Superman. So let's put it in comparison. So we had Christopher Reeves, Richard Donner, Superman. We've had Superman Returns, and then we had Man of Steel. Let's not get into the kind of... Well, we can't compare because we haven't seen it. Man of Steel did decent money to kick things off, and then they kind of didn't really know what to do. They kind of then went and did Dawn of Justice, which was a mess. I think it's interesting, you mentioned this, Adam, that they seem to be throwing a lot of characters, sub-characters, into this kind of doing what Marvel did with Spider-Man, apart from all the Sony stuff we don't talk about, but they've kind of thrown that character in fully formed into this universe. This is not going to be an origin story. I guess Gunn has kind of said that we all pretty much know the Superman story. I still think they'll have origins of sorts. There'll be flashbacks, etc. Maybe in the same way Man of Steel did, because it kind of gave us, it's been a while, a Superman setup. I can't remember.
Well, it starts all on Krypton with...
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Apologies.
It doesn't quite have the... Oh, he crash land on a farm. Of course, with Snyder, you don't get the human element. You just get Kevin Costner putting his hand up to a tornado.
But that's the thing that annoyed me about that. The best scene in that film is when he's talking to Clark as a child in the barn, where he's like, I don't know what I am. He's like, you're my son. I was like, that's brilliant. Can we have a film about that? But no, you didn't get that.
I also think the thing I never liked about all of Snyder's kind of, I mean, not just Man of Steel, was the fact that he was never interested in the aliases. Like, he wasn't that interested really in Clark Kent. He wasn't really interested in Bruce Wayne, particularly it was the characters. And I've always talked about, that's why I love Chris Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy. They're interested in Bruce Wayne. Who's the fucking lunatic that puts on the cowl? And I know there's the whole references, like, I know to an extent Quentin Tarantino and Kevin Smith, two directors who've ruined my love with Superman. Kevin Smith for his conversations about condoms and sex with old Kal-El, and Tarantino from Kill Bill Volume 2 with Bill's talk about Superman and Clark Kent and his reflection on his critique of that, and Clark Kent, that his character's meek, humble, kind of Buster Keaton-esque, like particularly with Christopher Reeves. But I love what Christopher Reeves did with Clark Kent. He did make them two very different characters. We're only judging from like a scene where we have a guy with a bit of a messy hair and glasses on, but at least there's a sense from that you're going to get possibly, listeners, some interest in actual Clark Kent. It's going to be interesting how they're going to handle that when they have, like, I don't know, because you know the comics that he's referring to. Is the alias a big thing? Does Lois know who Superman is just because we know we've got a bit of schmooching going on? Does she know he's Clark Kent at the same time?
It depends what sort of comic. All-Star Superman is sort of Superman at the end of his days, so Lois does know.
Okay.
But I don't know. I think in this movie they're gonna keep it hidden. I think they're gonna keep it hidden the whole way through. They're gonna do the Lois loves Superman, not Clark story, I think.
Okay. So very quickly, talk us through the source material that Gunn's referencing here. Would you recommend it for anyone, possibly anyone listening at this point? Is anything particularly in that run you'd suggest maybe seeking out?
All-Star Superman, 12 issues by Grant Morrison, Frank Quitely. Probably the greatest Superman story ever told.
Even beyond Death of Superman?
Yes. There's a great issue where Clark Kent goes to interview Lex Luthor in prison. And a prison riot breaks out, and Lex has to escort Clark out of the prison without getting hurt. And obviously the comedy of it being he's Superman, so don't worry about it. And then there's the classic, you might have seen it on Twitter, there's a girl about to jump off a building to kill herself, and then Superman flies down behind her and just gives her a hug. It's like a classic panel from that story. And I think Gunn has said himself, like, that sort of heart of the character of someone who's here for humanity to give everybody a big hug is sort of what he's leaning in with. And you can kind of see it in the trailer. Like, the most impressive shot to me in the trailer, not impressive in sort of movie-wise, but like character-based wise, was Superman just protecting the kid from a lot of stuff. And yeah, I can't remember the last Marvel movie where someone protects a human like that. Someone like fully just gives up, puts their back to the danger. Maybe, I don't know, Amazing Spider-Man 2 when he stops a bus from hitting the kid. But that was 10 years ago.
Yeah, and that's not even... Well, I suppose it is canon of sorts. Do you want that from your Superman, Joe? I mean, we were talking, and I've been kind of critical. I know we kind of moved on from that about... I mentioned that for some reason, the scene... As much as I don't mind Man of Steel, and there's parts of it I do like, parts of it I think are a bit meh, there's one scene, and I think it's Dawn of Justice, with Kal-El, and there's a sequence where they're having the whole discussions as do the world need Superman, and I think there's a flood somewhere, and there's like a group of people looking up to Superman. I'll come back to that because I know that's the tagline, or one of the taglines for the movies, and it's Kal-El looking down. And if you didn't know the context, you could easily go, he's this film's villain, because there's no sense of he's there to help. There's literally someone kind of scowling down. I come back to that point. It's like being Superman is a burden. And we never got that with Christopher Reeves, although, well, I guess internally, maybe, probably most notably, I think I would say 3. It's the burden of being Superman for Reeves that he wants to be with Lois Lane, and that's why can Superman and Clark Kent coexist? And then you see that kind of to weird and wonderful ways in Superman 3 and Superman 2, I guess, as well. But I think particularly the Donner cut. Mm-hmm. Does he lose his powers in the Lester cut as well?
Isn't that where he has a wee drink and fights himself?
Yeah. Well, that's 3.
Oh, yes.
That's 3 when he gets drunk, when he gets bad because he gets turned by nicotine. Or red kryptonite or whatever it is, some weird kind of kryptonite that they make and they construct they construct in Larne, and I think they use nicotine, I think, as an ingredient because Richard Pryor's character can't figure out what the last ingredient is, and he just literally reads stuff off from a cigarette case. And I think it's in 2. I know it's definitely in the Donner cut. He sacrifices his powers to be with Lois. Then there's a bar scene where he gets the shite kicked out of him. And then at the end, I think of the Donner cut, he goes back and fights the guy. I think in the Leicester cut, I think he does lose his powers as well, and they're still in both cuts. There's the big stupid S thing. But hey, Neil before Zod. Anyway, sorry, I went off on a tangent, Joe. Do you want your Superman to be upbeat and full of heart?
I want him to use the magic S again.
Cellophane S.
Yeah, because for me, like, my sort of relationship with Superman, I only know him through the films, to be honest with you. I haven't ever read any of the comic books and seen a bit of the animated series, but that's about it. But based on Adam's recommendation...
Isn't it Clancy Brown does his voice? Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh,
Isn't it? I'm nearly...
Does Lex Luthor's voice.
Oh, sorry, Lex Luthor's
right,
voice.
that
I
makes
knew there
more
was a
sense.
connection there. Sorry.
Just picturing him in Shawshank. But anyway, yeah, based on Adam's recommendation, I'm probably going to seek out that series because it sounds really interesting. But for me, even just anytime you watch the character, and then Adam brought this up earlier as well, I watched the Christopher Reeve documentary as well, and you get the full understand of who this character is, and not just in terms of his relationship with Christopher Reeve, but for everyone. He is a symbol of hope. And going back to that shot you're talking about from the Dawn of Justice, where he's looking down at the family who are almost about to drown, that goes back to what Snyder's intention. He wanted to treat these people as mythological
As gods.
Yeah, and that gets it wrong. You know, they're not messianic figures, they're heroes. You know, they're people with flaws and that they're not supposed to have perfections, and that, you know, I'm all powerful, oh woe is me. You know, that's a bit too drab for my liking. You know, don't get me wrong, they should have like moments of inflection where they realise, you know, the weight and the burden of being, you know, this all powerful character, but at the same time you have to have the emotion and the heart behind that to make people love them. And then again, going back to Adam's point about that shot where he goes to protect the little girl, that's the moment where I was like, yes, that's what I want from a superhero film, especially Superman. That's what it's supposed to be. Like you go back to the Donner one, you know, one of the first major scenes with Superman, or maybe it is the first one, is where he rescues I think it's Lois from the helicopter.
The
It's about the
helicopter,
crash.
he goes up,
Yeah,
it's going
that-
down, he goes up.
Yeah, that with the John Williams score, that's superhero cinema defined in that moment for me. Well, for me anyway. That's what it's supposed to be, you know. Instead of, oh, look at this cool landing I can do, or look how fast I can move by punching someone.
Don't forget, he's not flying, he's just jumping.
Yeah.
You can leap a building in a single bound.
Ooh, like the Hulk. No, for all that stuff, it's nonsense, especially when you look back. So for me, I'm glad it looks like it's going back to that core element of, you know, he is an alien raised as a human, and he has all those human emotions by the looks of things. So that aspect of things, I think James Gunn's nailed by the looks of the trailer, and I hope I'm right in that.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, you look at it, and I remember talking many, many moons ago to Mal Coney at Forbidden Planet, and we mentioned about how people talk about, is Superman relevant now? And I'm not, that's why I'm not stealing his point. Superman is probably more relevant now than ever. You think, in fact, there's the refugee angle that I hope that Gunn can not play into is not the right way, but moving away from the tried and tested kind of the Christ metaphor. And I know it's there. I know that it's there. You can't kind of get away from it. But it's like the fact that now in the world that we live in, the film seems to be asking the question, do we need Superman? That seems to be the impression. There's a sequence near the end of that, like, 2-minute trailer where some fella tries, like, there's clearly something has happened and people are none too plussed.
I think it's also commentary on the commercialization of superheroes, because you have Guy Gardner's Green Lantern and Hawkgirl and Mr. Terrific all work for Maxwell Lord, who is sort of unionized superheroes, and that's probably, you know, you have all these superheroes that aren't as powerful as Superman, and has Superman sort of brought this doomsday? What? No, doomsday's not in this yet. Has sort of brought this bigger threat to Metropolis, and you see in the trailer buildings collapse, and we're in Snyder's sort of buildings collapsing situation. He's just aping 9/11, whereas in this, it sort of feels like big spectacle. I hope that Superman, I know this sounds basic, I hope Superman saves the building so we don't just have another scene of people walking through dirt, be like, "Where's Superman? What's he done?"
Bruce Wayne's like, that's Superman's Al Qaeda.
Yeah,
You know, that's what it's like when you look at it.
Durka!
I hope I hope this movie doesn't end with Superman having to sacrifice himself. And then, afterwards there's a wee wink and a nod to the audience to be like, he'll be back someday. I hope this is literally Superman saves the day, and then once he's done fighting whoever the big villain is, the end of the movie is someone be like, my cat's up a tree. And he's like, here you go, citizen.
He's like, for fuck's sake, I'm trying to have a shite, have to pull the fucking nags back up.
Talk about kryptonite.
Jesus, shouldn't have had that curry last night. I, like you, hope, because that was my big thing. I remember saying this, that Man of Steel was... I mean, are we in agreement here? Man of Steel was all right.
I like Man of Steel.
It's fine, yeah.
Man of Steel's fine. The thing I remember most is Hans Zimmer's score.
Yeah.
And there's a few sequences. I always thought, in all honesty, there was no chemistry between Amy Adams and Henry Cavill. It didn't work.
Not even in the bath.
No, not even the big sexy bath. The one big sexy fella. But I can't judge because we've only seen a couple of smooches. You can't really judge. You'll have to wait and see the film on that front. I hope there's chemistry between the two. I mean, was there great chemistry between Kidder and Reeves? I think there was. I think there was genuine chemistry. I think sometimes it worked better, maybe less of the romantic side in the sense of the sheer lust. Though I'll Margot wanted to give Christopher Reeves the good ride by the looks of it, but was there great chemistry between, I don't know, and then you had Rachel McAdams, I think, wasn't she played it in, was it Rachel McAdams?
Kate Bosworth.
On Superman Returns?
Yes.
It was Kate Bosworth with Brandon
Oh,
Routh.
sorry, where am I getting Rachel McAdams from?
Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange, there we go. I thought there was decent chemistry between the two.
I think that Kidder and Reeves, I think Kidder plays a fantastic Lois Lane in the fact that she is going a million miles a minute.
Yeah.
It's very much, her job is the most important thing, and if you're not fucking with her, then you're without her.
And she can't spell, from what I remember.
She's dyslexic. But, yeah, it's not as if... Is there many superhero couples that have great chemistry?
Terry Hatcher and Dean Cain. Whoa.
Here, I'll tell you who does. The Superman Lois TV show that just
I've never
finished.
watched it.
Jim, fantastic. If you want, don't know why people... They literally start the TV show with their kid who doesn't know his dad is Superman. They're like talking about Superman, and the kid literally goes, Superman's born, who cares? So they start the show off with that statement of like, we'll fucking show you why Superman is an interesting character. 4 seasons, family drama.
But Adam, Kevin, I come back to it. Kevin Smith's ruined that. How could Lewis carry his seed?
Jim, I watched just yesterday the 4:30 movie by Kevin Smith.
Okay.
And he has no right to say anything about anything anymore. That man has lost touch with reality.
Not even with yoga hosers?
Oh, Joe. Yeah.
He's still holding out for Moose Jaws?
Sure, he's talked about it yesterday. Did you not see? Oh, we're into movie news. He has his own TV show coming out where, get this, people that run a comic book shop start solving mysteries.
Oh, no way.
Oh, that's going to be good. And then with Moose...
That's actually the sound of Joe reaching climax.
with Moose Jaws and what's the other fucking thing he said was the thing? Store Wars, which is going to be the next Jay and Silent Bob movie where they're... it's a movie about 2 weed dispensaries in... I know you're falling asleep, Jim. Where 2 weed dispensaries are having a store war. Get it? Because it sounds like Star Wars.
Hang on, do not have that show already? Is where people bid in them like storage units? Is that not Store Wars?
Yeah.
So he's stealing that name.
Are you saying that Kevin Smith is that original guy?
Where is a yawn as you talk about Kevin Smith? Weirdly, because I was saying to Joe the other night, we went out for the BanterFlix Christmas do, just 2 of us, because everybody was sick, Sicky Noel, and someone was writing the Christmas special. But Kevin Smith actually did a really good interview with Simon Brew on Film Stories, another good podcast. And I still will always... We've talked about Kevin Smith before on our Clerks pod, well, technically Clerks 3 pod, and I'll always have a soft spot for him because he was a filmmaker without a doubt influenced my love of cinema. And I love how kind of open he's talking about his mental health and his own kind of personal health. Like, you know, as he kind of says, his brain broke and his heart broke, and this is now he's given up weed, and this is where he is now. I haven't seen his latest yet. I was tempted to watch it. I will not lie, but maybe you're saying, Adam, I shouldn't waste my time.
I called it the Fumblemans.
Were you proud of that?
I was, because it's clearly trying to be like the Fableman, and it's. Can I spoil a thing for you?
Oh no! Don't spoil it.
At the after credits,
They go to the shop.
they're like, "Oh, have you went in yet? Have you applied for the job yet?" And then it cuts to just a shot of the quick stop.
Now, can I tell you a very boring story about why that came to be? I've already told this to Joe. So on the Simon Brie interview, Kevin Smith talks about he's an editor at heart, and he kind of like, I only want to shoot this, and this. This is all I need. The final film came together that was 73 minutes, and they went back to the producers and said, "You've got to make it. You promised us a film that's over 90-minute movie or close to 80 minutes." So we had to go back, and they went back and found. I haven't seen the film, but I know there's a gag reel, very long credits with a lot of notes. And then they were like, fuck, we need to only get a few more minutes here. And he literally was like, round the corner from where we're shooting is the shop from Clerks. Let's go there. So I'm assuming that's the sequence you're talking about.
Yes, but the way it's shot is that they could be in anywhere. It's just a 3-shot of the 3 guys on the bench, and then it cuts to an established shot of the quick stop. So you could, if you wanted to do a fan edit, you could be like, "Oh, did you apply yet?" And then just cut to a shot of like Auschwitz.
The zone of interest.
Yeah, being more interesting.
I get a sense I know what Adam's going to be doing over the next few weeks. But look, I'm probably going to watch it over Christmas. I'll not lie. There's a few films I know I need to keep up on, but we're not talking about that. But Kevin Smith, that dialogue, is it from Chasing Amy? Or what's the sequence where he talks about the kind of Superman? No, it's Small Rats. Of course, it's Small Rats. They talk about how Superman or Lois could never take a seed because it would just shoot through her and split her in half.
Kryptonite condom.
Yeah. Well, we'll only slow it down. That ruined Superman Returns for me because I was a teenage-ish boy, kind of in my later teenage, and I was like thinking about that. And then, as I say, the sequence from Kill Bill always comes up when we kind of think of Kal-El's, how he thinks of humanity, and that's what his representative, or what his Clark Kent represents. But I trust James Gunn. He's done a solid job with the Guardians, and I think he did a pretty good job with Suicide Squad, going back from the mess. Well, the underwhelming, undercooked, or overcooked, whatever way you want to look at mess that was Suicide Squad. He doesn't always get it right. I mean, not all of his stuff's perfect, and I know there are people that do not like James Gunn's sense of humour. I know there's because we're talking to Dr. Nicole Hamilton, and she's like, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan at all. It's the one thing that's actually putting her off the next Superman, the fact that he's involved. But I think he knows, and I always talk about this, he seems to understand that delicate balance of fandom. In that sense, he can give you what you want, maybe things some people don't think they want, like in crypto. But I don't think he tries to fuck with things. And I'm not saying that everything should be precious, because I think you should come in and try to do your thing whenever you come in, whether it's a big budget blockbuster from a comic book movie, or if it's a source material to a book. You should have the confidence to go in and do your thing and not cling to the pages for inspiration, like I would say Zack Snyder did. At times, Zack Snyder can't tell a story, but he knows how to put a panel on screen. He knows how to do crash, bang, wallop, rinse, repeat. He just doesn't know how to connect the dots narratively to get there from time to time. Anyone seen either of the Rebel Moon movies?
What is it?
Oh, I've seen both.
Yeah. They're pretty dull.
I can't remember them.
They are pretty dishwashery dull, and if I remember right, I think the director's cuts of both of those is now on Netflix.
Yeah, they're out. Yeah, so it's basically like, do you like Seven Samurai? Here's a shite version of it.
Yeah, here's
it.
a shite version of it that started life as a spec script for a Star Wars movie.
Yeah, because basically what what my mate does every Christmas Day, he has his like lounge film whereby you have your Christmas dinner and then you pop on some random shite.
Debbie does tell us.
Here. I could say something, but I'm not gonna.
Go on, Joe. You're amongst friends.
No, time's passed. It's not gonna be funny.
His
But,
man's called Debbie. That's what it is.
but yeah, Rebel Moon was his Christmas lounge film last year, and he couldn't remember. But this year it's Red One. So that's me. He just says any random shite. I can fall asleep within 5 minutes. It's great. So yeah, Rebel Moon. It is perfect for that. But it's good.
The Great Escape. No, yeah. Well, The Great Escape is good in normal day, but kind of Christmas Day, post-turkey feed, you can kind of have a wee snooze off and you wake up, the fella's biking across the countryside there. He'll make it. Or he might not.
Although I got in trouble one year because my sister's put on Last Christmas and I was half cut and I was laughing away through it. I was like, are they actually doing the George Michael song as a plot point here? And then we're like, it's not funny, it's sad. It's like, it's not really.
We watched that actually last night, my lovely wife and I will say this about Last Christmas. I wish I liked it. I genuinely wish I liked it. Because I think it's Emma Thompson wrote it. I think there's an idea there and she's kind of trying to do the Richard Curtis thing. But I think whether you like Richard Curtis or not, and I know stuff like Love Actually is problematic and there's a lot of issues there in terms of that, but Richard Curtis can get that balance right of schmolch and trying to have kind of things that work, but Emma, it just doesn't work. And I was sitting there watching, going, it's got its heart in its right place.
Hey.
It's just shit.
Yeah.
And it's lazy in how it wants to use the George Michael songs. It's literally just a jukebox musical, other than the fact that it's using literally, the lines from Last Christmas as its plot points.
I guarantee if he was still alive, he'd be like, are you making this film?
George Michael knew about this. This is the key thing. He knew about this project.
Was he drunk or high at the time?
I don't know, because the last song that features in the film is a song that he did specially for the film, shortly before he passed. So he knew about it. It had been working for a long time.
I crashed my car into a snap, beep, snaps.
I went to a toilet. I met some guys. Didn't see that bit coming.
Outside.
Yeah. Look, I wish I liked Last Christmas. I genuinely do, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about Superman. We don't have much to go with. We have a 2-minute trailer. We've had a poster saying "Look Up." What do you think of Al David as Superman?
I think he looks the part.
It's funny that when I went and seen Pearl, when he came on screen, I was like, fuck, he's about the Superman. And then he's cast.
And seen with Twisters, I was like, oh, not bad.
I forgot he was in Twisters. Wasn't when I was looking back. I was trying to look through his IMDb, and I knew he was in Pearl. I just couldn't remember him at all being in Twisters.
When you watch him in Twisters, like, he's going to be Superman. Like, we'll put it this way, there's nothing in that film that'll make you go, Superman. But
everybody was too distracted by Glenn Powell in that white t-shirt.
I was too distracted by nearly getting fucking killed.
Oh yeah, you went the 40X. But yeah, I like the fact that he's not big and buff in the way that Cavill was. And remember, we all felt sad for Al Henry when he went back into the gym and went back and got the kind of regime going. It's like, I'm going to be back as Superman. And then he came back for Black Adam for that one cameo, and it's like, no.
Because then you do like a live video announcement going, I'm back as Superman, and then you're like,
I think it's been proven that Cavill is good when he's either the bad guy or a bit of a prick.
No, Henry Cavill's a good actor. I want to make that clear.
Yeah.
And I think he should have been not just a good Superman, he could have been a stupendously good Superman. He just was burdened by a shit script that didn't know what it wanted to do with Superman. In the same way that Marvel, you look at the best Marvel movies and where they've kind of went a bit awry of late. Unsurprisingly, as we record a couple of weeks ago, we know that Chris Evans is coming back, potentially as Nomad.
It's all been thrown up in the air. Maybe an evil Captain America.
Possibly. Well, I know, being in the comics, there's the one where he's turned to Hydra.
Yeah. Well,
or he's an undercover secret agent.
He was Nomad in the last Infinity War.
I suppose.
Like, they always say these things are like, this person's going to be this character, and it's like for a second to sell a toy. It's never...
That Adam will buy.
Not anymore. I'm off the Marvel.
You've got to save for a wedding.
No.
When?
I need action figures of actors that don't have action figures. This movie...
Adam,
I'm
can
gonna
I
scan
just
it, just
picture
send
the
the action
scene,
figure.
right? Can I just picture the scene when you eventually, on your big wedding day, are you going to bring all your little action figures and have them sitting on chairs?
Well, who else would I be inviting?
Sorry, that couldn't make the list. I
Yeah.
had to make room for Stellan Skarsgård from
Yeah.
Andor here.
Yeah.
I'm like, and...
4 different Stellan Skarsgårds.
Werner Herzog from The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
He's taking up a whole row.
I can't get that one yet. I've had my eye on that in game for a while. It's been decreasing. Once it's a $5, Werner, you're coming up with me.
Thank you, Adam. I appreciate it.
I'll turn
Bring
around.
me the Werner.
Here is the ring. Oh no, I have been shot.
But yeah, where were we before we went into a madness fever dream of Adam's wedding, just surrounded by toys? I'm just thinking Robin Williams in the film Toys.
It's here since we're doing a ramble.
Happy Christmas!
What about this Robbie Williams monkey movie?
Oh, I'm so unfussed.
You know what? See, when I seen the clip of him doing Rock DJ, I was like, that actually looks better than Wicked.
Yeah, it looks alright, Jim.
I'm kind of sliding towards.
1, 2. Okay, so we've either. I think we're okay.
Okay.
Go back a little bit, maybe. So
So we're doing a ramble now, maybe.
Right, so we're doing a ramble.
Oh, fuck.
We've decided.
Happy Christmas!
What do you think about the old Robin Williams monkey movie?
I'm not fussed.
Robin
I'm not going to
Williams?
lie.
Well, Robin Williams was a monkey.
Oh no!
Hey, I'm a monkey.
Ooh, hey, ooh, hey.
But yeah, looks good. The old clip of him doing Rock DJ.
Do you think it looks? Because here's the thing, right? In all honesty, what's putting me off? 2 things. I get the monkey thing because he always refers to himself as a cheeky little monkey. It's just weird. Like there's scenes where he's dancing with other members of Take That, and they're just Take That, and then he's a monkey, which is like okay. I'll be honest. I just think that special effects, the CGI, it's not in the same way. It's not in the same level as what they did with Planet of the Apes or anything like that. It's not there. So I think that from what I've seen anyway, it's like.
Are you upset that Jason Orange isn't played by a giant orangutan?
Yeah. I think would that not have been better if all the members of Take That were all played by monkeys, and then there was just one giant one later on in a flash forward, and it's Guy Barlow's son.
Do you think like the breakup scene? Gary Barlow's crying, he's going apes together strong, but Robbie's leaving.
Yeah, apes together.
They're actually doing a biopic of the monkeys, and Take That are playing all of them. Weird choice.
But no, like the clip that the show was, the performance of Rock DJ, like the staging of that scene, it reminded me a bit of Rocket Man.
Okay,
It's a good director, is it not?
Yeah, is it the same guy?
It's the director of The Greatest Showman.
Yes.
It's not Dexter Fletcher.
Oh, I thought it was, that's the name. Sorry, Dexter Fletcher. It looked a bit like what he did with Rocket Man.
Dexter Fletcher's still in movie jail for that one with
Ghosted.
Chris Evans and Anna.
Ghosted.
Yeah,
That's a bit of money, like.
it's shite.
Oh, fuck.
He got a bit of money.
Aye, but he wasn't even happy with doing it.
No,
was like,
he wasn't, no.
Oh, I think we should do this. Nope. And I was like, yeah, but people get bored with it streaming, so we just have to like enter this part that makes no
Yeah.
sense and it's shite.
And then
Yeah,
Jim made me watch it for the TV show.
Yeah,
wonderful.
but you got to see Anna.
Well, you made me watch Red Notice, so fuck you.
Well, didn't make you watch Red One, which we reviewed in last week's show, which I fucking
happily
hated.
watched it on my own. What a horrible film.
No, hey, The Rock had a few pisses and a few bottles. That's all
That's
we
what
need.
I was doing at one point. I was like, spot the bottle. Any scene he was in, it's like, I wonder where it is in this scene. Is it under Santa's desk?
Did you not find yourself getting strangely
aroused by the piss bottles?
strangely aroused by the sexy buff snow daddies with the really pert bottoms?
Oh yeah,
The
where
snowman?
you have to pull their card to kill him.
Maybe
Yeah.
I should watch this.
Heidi, I have something to tell you.
As an arspert, Joe,
Yes,
the snowy cheeks.
bit chilly in the hands, but I think you can get a good cupping of them.
What did we think of David Cornsweat's buttocks in Superman?
Wasn't catching my eye.
No,
Was it not?
The cape's covering too much.
I'm not an arspert, like.
No.
No. From what I can see,
Joe always sees.
and how I analysed it, I was like, that cape's hiding a lot. So maybe when it flutters a bit more up in the air, we'll get the full.
Joe's like on set.
It was his idea to wear trunks, and now that's a good idea because it accentuates the bottom.
You're right.
Yeah.
I like that it's the classic Superman outfit.
Yeah, because I think he told James Gunn it's good to go with the trunks. It was either him or somebody advised him you should go with the trunks because it reminds like children that it's not to be afraid of this thing that can like fly and do all these things. It sort of reminds them more of like a wrestler in a way. Something that's larger than life, but accessible to them. So it was his idea, I think, to have the trunks. So good call.
It is funny that we're like 100 years away from it. Where like back then, like wrestlers did wear trunks and like the put 'em up, and then now we're 100 years have to like rationalize it. He wears the trunks because it's symbolic to.
Whereas I'm like, shows his hole.
Yeah.
Well, it covers his hole.
But it accentuates it.
Batman's gonna need the trunks, the black trunks.
I'm wondering by the time this comes out, that's going to be July. Will they have got round to that point? Do you think with announcing the next Batman? Because they're gonna have a Batman in this universe, and they have already said it's going to be an older Batman. It's going to be a Batman with a Robin. I don't think he's going to pop up in this. I hope not. Do you think you might get a post-credit sting or something that hints to that?
I don't know, because Gunn's post-credit stings in Marvel are quite out there and then don't really resolve.
Yeah.
Like you had like the fucking Adam Warlock, which you got Adam Warlock in 3, but like didn't. It could.
Was there not a piss take in Guardians 2? There was like 7 or something?
Yeah.
Or was it 3? There was like 7 post-credit stings.
No, the second one there's like 7 because you have like the Guardians 3000 with like Stallone and Miley Cyrus. But I think because Gunn had Creature Commandos, which isn't out in the UK yet, but that's the official start of the DC universe, which is sort of tying his hands because the actors from that will play the actors in live action.
Yeah.
So you have Frank Grillo in the cartoon.
He's Joel Kinnaman's father, what do you call him?
Sergeant Flag,
Rick
Flag, Rick Flag Senior, who they've drawn as a 6-foot man with grey hair, and then in the movie it's Frank Grillo, the 3-foot midget with black hair.
Beautiful.
So if you're going to have the old we're tying the universe together, maybe get the old the old colours right.
And we know that Peacemaker. Peacemaker. Yeah, Peacemaker is going to be in this universe, which is a weird one because it was like part of the last DC universe, and then James Gunn has kind of said like, well, most of it is all canon, probably apart from the sequence with the Justice League.
Yeah, so Gunn's Suicide Squad, the Suicide Squad is canon.
Because that's where he started from.
And then, so that means that Idris Elba has shot Superman.
Mm-hmm.
And then we just have to be like, oh, well, he's in hospital, so he couldn't have fought the big Starro kaiju. I don't know. It seems like they could have just went, let's not tie any of this together and just make a Superman movie.
Like he still could have done Peacemaker the way like the Batman is still there.
Yeah.
It's its own thing. Peacemaker, its own thing, and then you have your film DC universe in a way.
I think studios sort of overanalyze. Like nobody is like, why is Robert Pattinson not in Superman? And even if they do, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's like a small percentage. Like general audiences aren't going to give it down. They're like, oh, Superman, let's go.
Yeah,
I think it's a good thing he's kind of come out and said like it is a shared universe, but we are not in a big rush to get to an Avengers point.
Yeah.
But I would say he's saying that. But I would say there are studio execs at DC where like, yeah, we want a big Justice League movie pretty soon, James.
But they've sort of burnt that bridge. I think if they're going to do a Justice League, they have to do sort of like an event movie that's not called Justice League, that just has a lot of characters in it. Like this technically has like the JSA in it. So I mean, like the Green Lanterns and your Hawk Womans and Superman and stuff. But obviously they'll not be like, it's Superman and the JSA. So I think it'll be smart for them to do their event movies as big DC movies, not as these team movies. So you can just sort of have Teen Titans and Superman and all these characters interact without having to tie them down to the certain, sticker book that we're going to sell in the works.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I mean, I like the fact that they're throwing, which I feel then for long-term listeners of this pod, remember I was very critical when the Dawn of Justice came out and they were literally saying, oh, we're going to have Aquaman, we're going to have this and that, Wonder Woman's going to be thrown into the mix. I think the fact that my caveat to that point was Man of Steel was an origin story. Dawn of Justice then where we're coming into a world where those characters hadn't been established. You had to kind of set them up in some sense. Here we have a world that looks fully formed, as we've all alluded to, so I'm not going to go over that point. And all these characters are already there. They're already there, and it's a case if you want to know about them, either research them, go and read some comics. The film itself will probably give you just about enough info that you need to kind of get you across the finishing line.
Yeah, take Quicksilver in Days of Future Past. You could easily have that sort of character with the Flash. Just have Glenn Powell turns up in a Flash costume. Nobody's gonna be nobody in Days of Future Past were like, well, hold on, he's Magneto's son and Wanda's brother, and he has Polaris as a sister, and he has this sort of hair and this sort of costume. Nobody gave a fuck because the sequence was so fun. It's it's only sort of afterwards that people sort of ask those questions and the studio give in to be like, well, Magneto might be his dad. Nobody really cared. Whereas in this, it is fun that a Green Lantern's just turning up. Cool.
With that hair.
We get it. He uses his powers, the thing. That sets up a TV show enough for people that watch the movie to be like, rings give you powers to do stuff. Class.
When's Ryan Reynolds coming back?
Oh, fuck.
Hopefully never. In any capacity, in any film.
Hopefully never. Poor old Ryan. Because I'm just trying to think. So next year, we have 3 MCU movies. We have Fantastic Four. We have Deadbolts or
Thunderbolts.
Thunderbolts. I can never remember the name of that movie. And then we have the new Captain America.
Oh, I forgot about that.
The Captain America one is probably the one I'm probably most interested in. The fact that, not from a point of going, I can't wait to see what they do. I'm just going, how can they do this given the fact that the first 3, I know you kind of have to carry on the mantle, but the first 3 Captain Americas, apart from the first one really, which is the dullest, the Winter Soldier and Civil War probably still my favourite of any of the MCU installments, when the fact that they took a character that was essentially boring and did interesting things by the fact you give him an unflinching set of morals, refuse to bend them or change them, and you make him interesting in that sense. And now you have Anthony Mackie coming in. I didn't particularly love the Falcon and the Winter Soldier series. I'm just intrigued in that sense. You're going to return to the Captain America. You're going to return to the Captain America World series without Chris Evans. Okay, Hulk smash with Red Hulk. And Harrison Ford seems to be having a ball already talking about that. But I don't know. Thunderbolts could be fun. It could be fun. Fantastic Four is the one I'm intrigued about. But Captain America is the one I'm saying, I'll probably be there opening weekend. And I'll probably be going, this is shite. I think I could be wrong, because I think even still, was there not talk recently they're doing even more reshoots on it?
I think it's the 7th round of reshoots or something like that. It's mental.
And it's just you take these all with a grain of salt, but any viewing of it in public, everybody's been like, what the fuck is this? And that's why they're having to reshoot it, because they're like, we need to fix this, and it comes out in 3 months.
Compare that to Superman, where James Gunn's like, no, I did careful planning. This is exactly what I want. The only reshoots are pickups.
Pickups, establishing shots, etc.
That's it.
Because he always talks about that. Preparation, he storyboards, he prepares. I think there was very little reshoots for any of the Guardians movies.
It's probably MCU mandates at that stage to go, oh, you have to link these things together, but that's about it.
Part of me does wonder, because those films, particularly, I guess, Captain America and Thunderbolts, you have to probably get in some sense that those are films now caused by maybe things off screen, where the MCU seem to be going for one thing, going forward with one big bad, aka Kang the Locked Up, and
I thought you were going the other way with the main villain of Captain America: Brave New World being Israeli.
You've got a reference to that. You have the whole Kang the Conqueror stuff. So I guess that would have been problematic already, because I would say Captain America, script-wise, would be well on by the time all that stuff happened off screen. So you've had to retool that. You're now having to retool pretty much the entire MCU. Save us, Robert Downey Jr. You're our only hope. Fantastic Four, I guess, coming later. You might not have that problems maybe with screenplay, maybe not with things that have actually been shot. As you've mentioned, there's a whole talk about the whole kind of Israel-Palestine kind of references that are there that they've obviously decided they don't want to have anymore. So the film, I don't know. We can't review it like we can't review Superman. No. We haven't seen it. It's the one I'm intrigued by. We don't think we're going to get any more Spider-Man adjacent movies. That's done. If any of you
did you not read about that though? Apparently they offered, like, do you want to use Spider-Man in your Sony films? We're like, nah, we're good. We're
fine.
We're shiting our own. We're going to die by our own merits.
We've Craven the Hunter, and rest assured, listeners, if you haven't seen it, if you want to have a wee nap, watch that film. It's as dull as dishwater.
But I think that on their part, it's because Marvel owns the rights to the toys. So once you start making a Venom movie with a Spider-Man in it, Marvel's obviously going to want to make toys of Venom and Spider-Man, and Marvel's just getting a cut for doing nothing.
So you can just get the Tom Hardy version and you can bring him to your wedding.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
No, who do I want? Riz Ahmed.
Or the old Asian lady.
Yes.
Miss Chen.
Yeah, Miss Chen, that's it.
Yeah, you got to remember, Joe, Adam only picks the ones up that are on sale for $5.
I'm Miss Chen.
Tom Hardy's going to retain his value for quite some time.
You want actors that don't have action figures. So who's an actor in
Stephen Graham.
Oh, sorry, fucking.
There you go. You got Stephen Graham in
100%.
Or
I
Russell
haven't seen
Crowe
Last. Have either of you seen Last Dance? You said you'd
I
seen
watched
Last.
the other. It's shite, but it's like a special place in my heart kind of shite. It's like, you know what? Yes, we're consistent throughout. I'll give you that.
Consistently shite.
Yeah.
I don't think we're getting a Spider-Verse movie next year. I think the original plan was next year. I think that's been pushed back now because they're various.
They spent too much money in Captain America.
Well, that's more Sony's baby, really, isn't it?
No, I think is that a contract? No, sorry, I misread it. They want to sell it back to Marvel. That's what it is. Sorry.
I know Spider-Man 4 is pushing ahead. That's not going to be out next year. So really, big wise, am I right? You're going to have really 4 because there's not another DC comic book movie next year. You're going to have some stuff on the small screen.
The next DC movie after
it Stargirl?
Superman is Supergirl.
That's right. The girl from House of Dragons playing?
Yes. Yeah. So she will probably turn up in an after credit, I would say.
Well, that makes more sense.
And then their TV show wise is Creature Commando, Peacemaker,
Green Lantern Corps.
Green Lantern, which will be good, I think. It's got
your
good
main
cast.
guy, like, he was amazing in Rebel Ridge.
And Kyle Chandler,
Why?
who I do love.
Do like him.
And then obviously they'll do the Waller show.
You think so?
Clayface.
Oh yeah, Mike Flanagan's Clayface.
Although he's only scripted it, and apparently that script's already done. So.
Which was described as DC's The Fly. I'm in.
Yeah.
Get fucking out Brendan Cronenberg.
Just get fucking Jeff Goldblum in again.
That's Clayface.
Just throw a load of muck at him.
Clayface is a character I'm worried about because Clayface is a character who relies heavily on CGI. Other than out of the mimicry bits.
The reported budget's 40 million, so I think it's maybe going to be a bit character based.
Jim, get Daniel Day-Lewis.
Plus, here. Remember how many times people doubted Mike Flanagan? You can't make Gerald's Game. You can't make Dr. Sleep. You make Clayface.
I don't know. I mean, Mike's on a good run, and I trust Mike. Screenplay might be good. The screenplay might be good, but it's how it delivers to the big screen. What I would probably rather have, I'd probably, rather than Clayface, I'd say Mike Flanagan, go right. I know it's a Batman story, but you've got Batman. Go do The Hush. But then also, do I really want a Clayface without a Batman?
Well, we had the Penguin without Batman, and that's a great show.
Yeah, but Penguin is established in a world where Batman exists. He's just not there.
But Clayface is in Creature Commandos, So he
Okay.
technically is already in that universe
But we don't have a Batman in that universe that we know of.
that we know of. Yes.
Hang on, does he not? Did I not read a tweet or something where it says he's made his first appearance, Batman? Although maybe it's just like a background shot. It's not like an actual.
It's like a dream sequence of like all the DC heroes dead.
Oh, okay.
Was this from Creature Commandos?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, fair enough then.
So
I must say this is a riveting pod. Just three old fellas just sitting talking as if we're in the bar.
what did I read on the internet?
Did I see that? Let me take a wee IMDb break here.
But then again, they said that the Robin is going to be Damian Wayne. So there's three other Robins. So you have your Red
Yeah.
Hood, your Nightwing, and also
Redbreast.
Big Red Tips.
I
Chris
would.
O'Donnell's back.
Do you know what I would love? I would love if DC went completely mad and then just went, fuck it. Instead of just throwing everything in, let's just throw like the Batman who laughed into kind of the mix.
Do you remember at the end of The Flash, whenever Clooney turns up?
Yeah.
Do you think we would have been like fucking right if Chris O'Donnell was right beside him?
Yeah.
I actually thought he was shooting a Nescafe advert there or something. Else. It looked like it.
Well, and then that fucking terrible CGI tooth falls out.
Yeah.
Oh,
What a way to end the universe.
Do you know what? I've said it before. I would even take Clooney back.
Yeah.
I would take
Yeah,
Clooney
this
back.
version could-
I still think it was a missed opportunity with The Flash in the sense that they didn't use it to kind of position where they want to go. And like, I mean, you could have had Gunn using even just like a post-credit sting from that film to launch pad everything, but instead they give us this weird sequence with him and Aquaman going out and getting drunk.
And then Aquaman drowns in a puddle. I think that was probably their aim. I think somebody in the room was like, that's a great idea. Who's playing the Flash again? And they went, oh, the criminal.
yeah, because that's the problem with the Flash. They have to stay consistent, and if you can't really have Ezra
Yeah.
Miller because they're very problematic.
If you had anybody else, I think that would have been there would have been the stroke of genius. They went, fuck, DC's done it. They've rebooted, and we'll have sort of a universe set up.
Yeah, it's a shame Kevin Spacey wasn't playing them.
Well, that's it.
Kevin Spacey's playing Batman.
Here, back
Gary
in the day,
Glitter's Wonder Woman.
It's called the cancelled universe. That's what,
diddle me this, Batman.
Is that Rolf Harris? Anyway,
P. Diddy is in it.
the Diddler.
Yeah. Apologies, dear listeners.
It's an easy open.
This is
goal.
what
I had
happens
to-
when three silly boys get together. So
You
look,
ever see P. Diddy dressed as Heath Ledger's Joker?
no.
Nah, that's a multiverse.
Fucking look that up. He's going down the street dressed as Heath Ledger's Joker, and a car pulls up, and it's Tyler the Creator. And Tyler the Creator's like you can just see his face. He goes, "What the fuck is this?" And then P. Diddy's like, I got these scars. And Tyler the Creator's like, I'm out of here, you bloody fucking madman. Little did he know.
Yes.
He probably did, and it was
In
like,
our-
oh, fuck that. It's even worse.
In the
He's in that makeup.
BanterFlix cinematic cancelled universe where P. Diddy is the Joker to somebody's Batman. Kevin Spacey's Batman.
Biggie Smalls.
Just to wear that costume.
But anyway,
My
I
mum and
think
dad got shot in an alleyway.
I think we should draw this podcast to a close based an hour of us talking nonsense based in 2 minutes of a trailer.
But it's Christmas.
It is Christmas. It is Christmas silly merriment. And no drinks have sadly been had as we have this chat. Has this trailer got you excited? I'll say it in two phrases, right? Two parts. Has it got you excited about the prospect of even more comic book movies? Has it got you excited about the prospect of a new DC universe? Adam, come to you first.
Comic book movie wise, no, but it is just nice to have a thought in my head that next year I'm going to see a good Superman movie. Because it's nice to be able, like, with Fantastic Four is maybe the movie next year that I'm hopeful for, even though I'm not loving the cast. I love the characters enough that. But with here, I love the cast. I love the character.
You love Lois.
I love Lois.
Whoa.
Peter!
With more DC movies, it's really up in the air. If the next DC movie we're getting after this is Supergirl, okay, cool. That story is great that the comic is based on, but it is sort of like I could have taken 5 years off and then had just one movie a year or one movie every 2 years like it used to be. Or give me something just I've never seen before. Something wild from DC.
Like a Clayface movie.
Well, yeah, like a Clayface movie and not fucking Joker Folie à Deux.
Folly of poo.
I don't know. I don't even know what I could sit here and be like, I'd like to see this because I think even me, who's a big comic book guy, didn't see Craven, didn't see Venom, and I sat through Mrs. Webb earlier this year.
I'll tell you this. I've seen Craven the Hunter because I quite like J.C. Chandler as a director.
Mm-hmm.
I love it's All or Lost, All is Lost, I think. The Robert Redford film where he's just stranded at sea. I love that film.
It's a boat movie.
It is a boat movie with very little dialogue and Robert Redford just saying fuck all and just showing you like, yeah, he's not a bad eye actor. I think he might go far. And there was a few other films. Was a Violent Year, I think, didn't he do as well? Or am I getting that mixed up with somebody else? Most Violent
One
Year.
with
Oscar Isaac.
Jessica Chastain and Oscar Isaac.
Yeah, I'm
I
nearly
think so.
certain he did. And then there was another one he did I think with Kevin Spacey, possibly the
K-Pops?
Enron kind of thing. The kind of the money talking. It was all about
Yeah, Paul Bettany's in it as well,
Yeah.
and
Margin Call.
Margin call. There we go. Solid director. It's just that Craven is just dull as dishwater. They try to turn him into Marvel's Batman, which doesn't really work. The special effects for Rhino just look stupid. Everyone looks a bit embarrassed. Russell Crowe's having a bit of fun with a little bad Russian accent. Aaron Taylor-Johnson, someone I thought could be a great Bond. I don't know. Having watched Carry On Netflix, which was a lot more fun, buck stupid and silly, I think I'd rather have Taron as Bond. But I don't think Taron's going to get that gig.
Too small.
He's too small, but he has got the kind of, if we need a new Mission Impossible actor, having watched Carry On, he can do the running around the Tom Cruise.
I thought that's what Jeremy Renner was supposed to be doing.
He's just getting run over by fucking trucks.
It's that time of year, Jim.
That's what he said. Don't, Jeremy, just stay in the house. But
I want to go with snow ski.
just stay there and watch. No, Craven the Hunter, it's dull. Madam Web, I rewatched.
Hell yeah.
I rewatched, and I think I just take. It's the first time where once again Jim McClean might be a hypocrite, where I go to myself. I've always said I don't really take perverse pleasure in watching bad movies like The Room, but Madam Web, I think if you're going to do a comparison for me, that might be Madam Web might be my The Room.
That's fair enough. Because see, when films like that, I'm like Frank and It's Always Sunny. I'm the trash man. Just eating these films, consuming. I was like, yeah, give me him.
I just think it's Madam Web is so bad. The ADR is so bad. Dakota Johnson just looks embarrassed the whole way through it. But leave it.
But here, Sydney Sweeney.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, she's supposed to be a child. Not no.
No, she's over 18.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank God.
she just dresses provocatively. Madam Web, Shakespeare. In the sense that both are bad movies, but Craven the Hunter is bad because the fact not that it's bad, it's just boring, generic. You could have had AI writing it, and if it was, I would just be really embarrassed for you. Sorry, it's bad. Yeah. It's just really meh. They try to Batmanify that character and it doesn't work. It reminded me of a couple of years ago, good few years ago, when they made the Tarzan movie and they tried to turn him into Batman. It doesn't really work.
Oh, that one with Margot Robbie and Samuel L. Jackson and your Skarsgård boy.
Yeah,
Made a lot of money.
Oh, it did.
No, like fucking like $500 million.
$500 million?
Swear to God.
Fuck off.
Oh, listeners,
No.
Adam's taking an IMD
Put it
break.
this way, compare budget to, because anyway, you always have to make 2.5 times
Yeah.
the budget back to be profitable.
Right. We're looking at that.
Right. Bit Tarzan thing.
Joe once again reaching climax for the second time in this podcast.
180 mil budge.
Fuck hell. It shows.
356 box office. Not half a bill, but more than you would think.
More than anticipated, yeah.
But
I'll
less
give you
than
that.
half.
For a
I'll give
movie
you
that does not exist.
Less than half.
Oh, fuck, Christoph Waltz is in as well.
Yep.
I remembered. Oh,
And
jeez.
So just for that again, so just for that again, Adam. So Tarzan was made for. So Adam, you've done your research. Adam, Tarzan, it was made for
100 million, 180 million,
and it made
356.
so a flop. It didn't. It only. It was it. You have to make
Twice and a half.
twice plus half your box office. Twice your cost plus
Like 2.5 times your
Yeah,
budget.
so for that to be deemed a hit, that would need to have done 500 million at least.
I bet you it's somebody's favourite movie, though.
Barry?
Barry loves it.
Barry loves it anyway. On that note, so I think we shall bring this pod to a close. Joe, before we go, all those questions I asked to Adam many moons ago, has this trailer, all 2 minutes of it, got you excited about the prospect of a new DC universe, new DC movies, and maybe rekindled a little bit of childlike wonder and hope for all those comic book movies we're going to get a glut of?
Well, taking this film on its own merits, I am looking forward to this, but I still feel there's a lot of superhero fatigue. You know, you mentioned 3 MCU films we're getting next year. None of them are really piquing my interest. Maybe Fantastic Four, if they're not going to tie it into stuff, but of course it's going to be tied into stuff. It's
Well,
the
they're
MCU.
one of those 3 films has to bring back Explain Downey Jr.
Yeah, and it's probably going to be Fantastic Four since that connection
Yeah.
to Doctor Doom. But then, yeah, you have Thunderbolts, which seems a weird one because I guarantee if it was made 5 years ago, they would make that into a TV show rather than a film. But now they have the sense to take these TV shows, just make them into a film, 2-hour film. That's all you need from. And I'm surprised it wasn't really just on the streaming. But it could be all right. And then Captain America, I think it's a bit of a lost cause with the amount of reshoots and that there. But then again, we've seen other films in the past that have had to go through rigorous reshoots. They've turned out amazing. Time will tell.
I don't think Captain America will be a mess. I don't think it'll be amazing.
I think at best it'd be a 3-star.
I think it'll be just another one of those, like, in the same way, like The Marvels wasn't terrible. It was just fine.
It was forgettable. That's what was wrong with it. And the fact that you had to watch a show beforehand to get this
2
established
shows.
character. That's right, 2 shows. So yeah, that's it. That's going back to my original point. It's fatigue having to do all this homework just to get in it. Whereas this looks like throwing you in the middle of the action. You know Superman. You know where he's from. You know his story. Here's this particular story we're going with. So as a standalone thing, I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, so I think on that note, we'll wrap it all up. Thank you very much, Adam. Thank you very much, Joe.
Thanks, Jim.
We'll be back next week with another podcast, but for now, until then, goodbye.